Okay. All right. So first, I just want to thank those of you that have hopped on. I was telling Chelsea and Cassidy, Jen, that it may not be a giant group on here because mine is at such a weird time of the day. When Tori put this together, she let us choose our own day and time. And Friday is my only free day, and where I'm not cleaning someone else's house. And then I have to run errands on Friday before I pick Sophia up from school. So it had to be early because I knew that if I tried to do it tonight, it would be a disaster with my kids awake. So let me get my notes pulled up here. I am a rambler. So I made notes to hopefully, I'm long-winded. I don't know that I'm a rambler, but I'm long-winded. And so I made notes to hopefully stick by them. I made this guide back in, I don't even know, someone on my uplines team, Magnificent Superstars, asked me for if I had a guide because I love doing home parties. And I said, you know what? I don't, but I'm going to make you one. So I made this a few months ago, like September-ish. And I'm going by it. And just take notes as you please. Again, this is being recorded, so it will be available afterwards to share with anyone, and also go back and fill in notes where you need to. If you have questions, since it's just the four of us, feel free to unmute yourself and ask questions as you have them, or obviously post in the chat. I'm really bad about checking that chat when I'm on Zoom calls because it goes away, and so I don't always see the red notification. So if you've posted in the chat and I don't see it, please feel free, since it's just the four of us, to unmute yourself and ask questions, because I'm so easygoing and you're literally not going to bother me if you interrupt and be like, hey, I have a question. So first off, for those of you that may not know me, which I'm pretty sure, Chelsea, I know your name. I'm not sure that I think I know your name. Are you a superstar? Are you a magnificent, are you on Morgan's team? Is what I'm asking. If you don't know me, and since it's being recorded, I am Kelsey Todd. I am director of Team Southern Wax Slingers. I live in a little town that nobody's ever heard of called Crossville, Alabama. And most people that get on Zooms with me that don't know me and that live somewhere else can normally pick up the accent. The last one that I was on with the last one that my other boot camp sister did, one of her team members was like, where are you from? And I was like, yes. And they were like, it's Alabama or Georgia. And I was like, yep. So I am very country. So if you don't understand and you think something I'm saying, please ask, because I'm a former teacher, so I try to enunciate, but I haven't taught in a little over 6 years because I came out when I was pregnant with my daughter. And so sometimes my grammar gets away from me. Hey, Mandy. But I've been with Cincy. I joined in June of 2015 when I was looking for my first teaching job. When I originally joined, it was just to get a discount because I love the products, but I hated paying full price for them because I didn't have a teaching job yet. My husband he worked at AT&T, so his income was not the greatest, and I just wanted a discount. So I wanted free and half priced goodies. I didn't care anything about building a team. I didn't care anything about making this a business. And here we are 7.5 years later, and I'm a director with a group of more than I ever thought I could have put together, which I have a group of 174 and then a team of 57. So there's a huge gap there, and I'm working on it. So, but Just a little bit, I guess, about me is I'm a former educator. I taught special education for a year. Found out I was pregnant with my daughter. Was ridiculously sick in that pregnancy and had to come out of work. And had Sophia, decided I would stay home for a year with her and kind of make Cincy a full-time thing. Promoted to director right after I found out I was pregnant with her. And it's just, it's been me and Cincy ever since. I thought I'd go back to work after a year. And let's see. Oops, what did I just do? I thought, there we go. I thought that I'd go back to teaching after a year of Sophia being born, and you couldn't pay me enough to go back right now, especially right now. I love being a stay-at-home mom. I have another little boy now. Like Sophia was a girl, obviously. I'm nervous. Can you tell? Anyway, so I had Sophia. She'll be 6 in May. Rhett will be 2 on March 2nd. And I love being home with them. Like, it's literally the greatest thing of my entire life. I always wanted to be a teacher. Teaching was my passion, but I never wanted anything more than just to be a mom. And because my mom was so good at being a mom, and I just wanted to mirror what she had done. And I'm getting to live it. I'm getting to live that life now. But and the majority of it is because of Cincy. I'm super blessed. And so, okay, I'm going to hop right in. So when choosing my topic, I wanted to kind of do something that I feel as if I'm good at, but also something that, people they really need help with. And I've had several people reach out about home parties. Home parties haven't really been a thing since 2020 with the pandemic, but things are kind of, COVID is somewhat, it's not really behind us. It's still a thing, but it's kind of like a flu thing now. Like it's a part of our lives. It's the new normal. And things are returning to normal. People are becoming comfortable with letting us in their homes again to host parties. So pre-COVID, I loved a good home party. And I didn't just do them at homes. I've done one in a coffee shop before. I've done one in a buffet before. The girl's dad owns the restaurant, and she wanted to host it there after hours, obviously. And so that's what we did. And I love them. And I consider myself pretty successful at them. My virtual parties I don't know that they're, well, yeah, virtual. I do messenger parties. They're usually pretty successful, but I just love a good home party because they're just classic. I mean, that's what we've, had to do years ago when we didn't have all of this technology and the messenger ideas and yada, 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 and all those things. So like, you just go back to the home party, and home parties make people nervous as far as consultants because you're standing up speaking in front of people. But y'all, if you know your business front like the back of your hand, then I mean, it's just really, and like, you don't even have to know everything there, like just the basics, like, because when you do, and I'll talk about this in a little bit, when you do a home party, the biggest thing that you want to do is keep it short and sweet, because nobody wants to sit and listen to you talk about Cincy for an hour. They just don't. It's something I learned the hard way. And sometimes it can be hard to kind of condense everything, but hopefully we can, you can, take something away from this where you can condense it into a shorter version, an hour or less, or less than an hour, and make it successful. So I've had home parties that have done in the $1,000 range. I've never done under a $500 home party. So I consider myself pretty successful at them. And to me, the trick is just getting the scents under their nose. Like, people love messenger parties because they're convenient and you don't have to put pants on for them, which is a plus. I do love a good messenger party. But I love hosting, like I love being in the home and getting my products under people's noses, because when they can smell those products and when they can see them firsthand, like in use, it's kind of a game changer, because then it's harder for them to say no, honestly. So first, I just want to talk about pre-party planning. It's very important. It's the same thing if you do hostess packets. I don't do hostess packets. I don't send out a host pack anymore. I've kind of come to realize it's not like when I host parties for other people. Like I've hosted recently a Red Aspen part. No, yes. Well, I was supposed to. It ended up she canceled it, but she never. We had all the pre-party stuff done, and at last minute she canceled it. But she hadn't planned to send me a hostess packet. I've hosted 31 parties in the past, and she had quit sending hostess packets. Everything was just kind of sent in an email or a text, and it just makes it easier because that's like at people's like in their, it's right there. I don't, and I feel like a lot of the hostess packets probably made their way into the trash. And so what I do is for pre-party planning, I have my host create a wish list. I will send them a wish list printout of some kind, whether I email that or text that, or some of them just prefer to create that in their notes on their phone. I'm a pen and paper gal. So like every season when I get a new catalog, I like to sit down and write out my wish list, the things that I want from that new catalog. So I will
Hey,
send
can
a
I ask you a
printout.
quick question, Kels?
Yes.
How early do you give them that wish list thing? I really like that idea.
If I do a home party, 2 weeks before the party at least, because I like for them to be able to sit and go through the catalog and narrow down what they really, which I don't even really tell. I just tell them, hey, and I tell them to try and prioritize it, list everything you want. Don't, because we don't know what we're going to sell, how much you're going to be able to use. So don't even, whatever, just make a list. So I give them a week or two to be able to sit down and do that, because I don't want to give it to them 3 days before and then them be busy and not have the time. Like you really want to give them time to do that and give them time to think.
Okay. Thank you.
So you're welcome. So I always have them create a wish list, set up a party page always on your PWS. You've got to set it up anyway so that you can enter the orders, but set it up early, like a week before the party. That way people that know they're not going to make it to the in-person party can browse the link, do some shopping. They can still shop and order even if they're not going to get to participate in person, and then leave that link open for a few days after the in-person gathering so people can browse and shop also. Always give a closing date. Hey, we're going to close this party on, and set that with your host. Because like the host may want to set it on payday or after payday or something like that for them. So make sure you run that by them, let them pick the closing date, but have a firm set in stone closing date. That way their guests know, hey, this is when I need to shop by. Get to know your host, or hostess. That is incredibly important. You want to build a rapport with your hostess. Most of my hostesses, I feel like I know home party wise, I've known pretty well. My virtual hostesses or virtual parties, I've had hostesses that I don't know from Adam because I've gotten them off of other parties. And so I do everything in my power to make sure that I get to know that host before the party and build a relationship connection with them, so that they don't feel like I'm just using them for a paycheck. I make it very clear to my hostesses that this is not about me making money. It is about me showering them and spoiling them with all of the free Scentsy and all of the half price Scentsy, so that they know that this is about them. And then try your absolute best to maintain regular contact before the party. You know, let them know, hey, I'm going to show up at this time. Let them know what games you're going to play. Like, stay, and I'm not saying text them every day. Don't drive them crazy. But definitely maintain a regular contact. Text them, you know, if they set the party up a month in advance, text them once a week, or to start off, text them, hey, 3 weeks out, hey, are we still good for this date? Yes, okay. And then 1 week, hey, I'm super excited about your party, you know, 1 week from today. And then throughout that week, maybe I like to remind, hey, if you want to have snacks, you know, maybe I like to create a Facebook event instead of send out paper invites. So I'm like posting your event that, you know, what snacks you're going to have, or if you're having food, or if it's just light refreshments, like, you know, prepare people. And I try my best to stay in contact, because again, I don't want them to feel like they're just a dollar sign to me. You want them to feel like this is about them, because it is, and make sure that they feel valued as a customer and a hostess, and not a paycheck. So host coaching is incredibly important. Hosts are an essential part of the party experience. Treat them like the wonderful people that they are. Your host for a home party, they welcome you into their home. They introduce you to all of the people that they love, and they invite you to make them your own customers. So you've got to think, like, if you're going into a home that you don't know, with a customer that you don't know yet, or hostess you don't know yet, you're meeting more people that you don't know, and that hostess is allowing you to take their friends and family and make them your customers. So you've got to treat them like the absolute gold that they are. You've got to prepare your host and hostess for what's to come. I'm big on not over inviting. For a home party, I always say invite around 20, because half of that's probably going to come. I would keep it, I would always invite at least 10, no more than 20. Because if someone in a Facebook event sees that you've invited 50 people to their home party, if they struggle with social anxiety, like many of us do, they're probably going to panic, and they're not going to show up with 50 people being invited. So I always say don't over invite. Usually half will show up. So if you invite 10 people, 5 people is still a pretty good number to show up, because these add up pretty quickly. The orders do. But you don't want the home packed. You don't want to make it overwhelming. You want it to feel intimate, so that you can build that rapport with your potential new customers. I always encourage my hostess to provide some type of refreshment of their choice, light or heavy. Most of my hostesses do light. If they do it in a coffee shop, people buy their own refreshments. But most people, when I do it in their homes, it's like little mini sandwiches, maybe some cookies and drinks. The charcuterie boards are real popular right now. Anytime I have a party here in my home, I always make a charcuterie board. Just snacks in general. Some people may want to go heavier and like order a nugget tray from Chick-fil-A. And let me tell you, those are my kind of people. That is the people I want to host a party with, because I'm up for some Chick-fil-A nuggets or something like that. So I always encourage it, but again, times are hard. So if they don't feel like doing refreshments, or if they just feel like doing cookies and water, by all means, let them. Have them tell their guests, I'm not going to have many refreshments, so make sure you eat a meal before you come. Don't come hungry. And if you want to provide that, that's perfectly fine too. I personally have not provided that in the past for my hostesses, but if you want to provide that, by all means. Like I said, times are hard. Totally up to you. I wouldn't recommend anything with eggs in it though, with the price that eggs are right now. Your display. It's very important to consider how you plan to display and demonstrate your products. A good rule is you want to be able to carry everything that you need in one trip from the car. I have a giant cardboard box that I carry when we do holiday gatherings. It's what I put all my food that I've cooked in. If I can fit it all in that, it's a pretty decent size box, excuse me. So if I can fit all of my Scentsy in that box, it's normally a pretty decent display. Not too much, but not too little also. You'll need to be selective about what you bring, which really puts into practice our core value of simplicity. You don't want to overcomplicate the party. When you keep it simple, your host and guests are really more likely to experience the "I can do this" moments, and that may encourage them to host or join. So that's pretty important, because you don't want to go there with just the mindset of just gaining customers. You want to go there with the mindset of gaining potential new hostesses and potential new team members, because you want to bless others with this business as well, if it's been as incredible as you were telling them that it has been. Keep your product display simple and effective, y'all. Check with your host. Maybe they have a warmer or two around their house already, so that you don't have to bring, tons of yours. But it's a great way to show exactly, and you don't have to. It's a great way to show how a product looks in action. So like my cousin, she does home parties pretty often for me, once a year, or before COVID she did. And she's older, and so she didn't invite me into her home for a few years. And she has warmers and diffusers all around her house. And so instead of unplugging them and putting them on display, keep them in action there. Like her diffuser is right in her living room normally on her fireplace. And that's perfect, because she turns it on for me and it's in action. And so people see that, and it's also a good way to allow your host to show off all their favorites and goodies. So what I take, and the beautiful thing about this business is that it's independent and you can do what you want, but this is what I take. I take 2 warmers, current warmers, if possible, because I don't want somebody seeing an older warmer and being obsessed with it, and then me being like, oh, that's not my catalog, sorry. And I do not sell anything in my display. So the goal is to go there with what I've got, show it off, and people order from the catalog from my hostess's party. So if it was an older warmer and they were like, oh, but can I buy that one? I'm going to be like, because you have to buy from this person so that they earn all the free stuff. So I take 2 warmers, current warmers if possible, try to mix it up, a full-size warmer, maybe a mini warmer as well. I like to take 1 diffuser and 1 oil, or maybe a couple different oils. That's fine too. I have a deluxe diffuser, but I also have several of our large. Good Lord, what are those called? Deluxe and drawing a blank. Anyways, you know what I'm talking about, the gorgeous ones. So I take 1 of those. Premium, thank you. Yes, thank you. I am a sucker for the deluxe because it runs longer. So if I only take 1 diffuser, that is normally the one, because if somebody's going to buy a diffuser, it's normally going to be that one anyways, because they're so affordable. But hey, take a diffuser shade, a premium diffuser shade with you too, also, just so they can see how gorgeous those really are. Do what you want, but I like to take the deluxe. That's just me. My favorite line that we have is our cleaning line. So I always take Counter Clean, and I take, out of our laundry products, I take a Scentsy Fresh for sure. Whatever sells best for you. I don't sell a ton of laundry products. I sell a crap ton of cleaning products. So which Fresh is Laundry. I always forget Fresh is Laundry, but I do sell a good bit of it, so I take it with me. But if you want to take, some whiffs and some liquid, set it up next to your cleaning products. But I always take my cleaning product. I take my counter clean. I take my bathroom cleaner. I let them sample that if I can. Like I will clean like an inconspicuous spot on something and show them how well it works. I sell more of our clean line than anything, I think. So that's what I love. And I love it. I love our clean line. So that is what I take a good bit of. Choose whatever sells best for you. I take a couple bars, and I also take a brick to compare sizes, so they can see. And I know we only sell bricks a couple times a year, but we have them in our club. That's a perk if you're a club member. So I like to show them, that way I can bring up club and be like, hey, you can get this gigantic brick as a perk in our club. And I compare the sizes. So be sure to bring another bar to warm during the party. Because your party is going to be in one area, like the living room, the dining room. So my personal advice is not to warm more than one fragrance in that, because you don't want everyone leaving with headaches. So couple bars, your favorites, a brick to compare sizes, a pack of cotton cleanups. These are still new to my customers. I show them off every month when I do my live video and unboxing my club order, because I get them in my club order. And people are messaging me like, I didn't know you had those. And I'm like, well, I suck as a consultant. I'm sorry. People are obsessed with our cotton cleanups. Club doesn't count for host, does it? No, I just mean that you want, like, when I introduce club at a party, I don't necessarily introduce it as something for them to sign up right then and there. Kind of just more something to think of. And because I'm like, hey, in the future, it's something to think about. Yeah, I definitely don't want them signing up and it ruining my hostesses rewards. Show them at the end of your presentation how the cotton cleanups work, and clean up the wax out of the warmers that you've used. One thing I like to also take is a Scentsy tablecloth if you have one. If you don't have one, they're in the consultant store and they're priced pretty affordable. I have two, I think, the black ones. And if I host an open house here, I set it up. That's what I use. And then I take them to my parties. But again, they're available for a good price. So first off, oops, I just accidentally messed my notes up. First off, when you begin your party, you want to introduce yourself, obviously. Tell them a little about you and your Scentsy journey. You can tell them anything you want about yourself, but I personally try not to talk about myself too much. That can be off-putting sometimes. As far as I tell people the basics. I say, hey, just like I did at the beginning of this video, I say my name, where I'm from. As far as personal life goes, I tell them that I've been married for however many years and that I have 2 kids and a lot of dogs. And that's it. I do normally go into how I'm a former educator, but that I dropped that job to sell Scentsy full time. But I don't go into, I love leading worship at church. I don't go into my hobbies. I don't tell them how much I love Starbucks. I don't, they don't care. So, but definitely give them a backstory. Give them, tell them a little bit about you as far as your kids, your animals, if you don't have kids, stuff like that. Let them again, that's part of building that rapport. Definitely tell them about your Scentsy journey. I always include how long I've been a consultant, why I started Scentsy. I always tell them my beginning why, what my why is now, I share a couple of things that it's done for me over the last 7.5 years. But again, keep that kind of short and sweet. Always start with an icebreaker. This is very important in my opinion, because I'm a very anxious person if I'm in a crowd of people that I don't know. And when someone says, if I'm at a party and someone says, okay, we're going to play an icebreaker, my heart immediately sinks because I'm like, well, dadgummit, I'm going to have to introduce myself. But there's some really fun icebreakers out there that when you finish the game, your customers feel so much more comfortable. So a couple of those I'm going to kind of, and I also, you don't have to write these games down because I'm going to say them kind of fast. This is on my Google Docs. I'm going to share this document in any group that I've posted, that like Magnificent Superstars, our boot camp group, so that you guys can share this with your teams. So they'll have this document. One of my favorites is just a phone call away. So everyone, literally almost everyone, my 79-year-old Poppy had a cell phone before he died. He didn't really use it, but he had one. Everyone has a cell phone. Ask them to take it out and ask them to hold it in their hand. Hold yours in your hand as well. Tell them that this is the easiest game they're going to play the entire time of the party. Super easy. Ask everyone to punch your phone number in. Give them one number at a time, but do not press call. Just have them go to the phone call, type in your number. When you say go, you're going to tell them the rules first. You're going to tell them when you say go, everyone hits call at the same time. Your phone's going to ring only once, obviously, and you will answer and find the winner on the line. So whoever's phone call goes through, that's the winner. I always give him or her a little goodie bag. Don't break the bank, because this is probably going to be out of pocket, and that you don't want to break the bank with little goodies like this. I do a little bag with maybe a travel twist. Car bar clips, can't do those anymore after this month. Kelsey hates me. Car bar clips are my favorite. So travel trip room sprays are great. If you want to do something a little bit big, I try not to do bars because not everyone has warmers yet. So I try not to give away a bar. Try to give away something they can use right then and there. Like when they leave the party, room spray, travel twist, car bar clips. If you want to do something a little bigger, maybe a Scentsy Fresh, a counter clean. But I do try for little games like that. I try to do smaller prizes. So they get a prize for just having the fastest fingers in the room. Then while everyone still has their phone, tell them to save your number, and you're going to have them put your name and then Scentsy Lady out by it. Okay. Tell them that they now have your number forever. And if they ever need Scentsy, you're just phone call or text away. So it's a win-win. They win a prize and they have your number so that they're going to remember you as the Scentsy Lady now. So presentation. Do what?
I love that game. I'm going to use that.
It's very cool. I love it. So presentation, always make your host feel special. Again, this goes back to they are the guest of the hour. They are they're inviting you into their home. They are throwing this party for you, and you're going to treat them like the rock star that they are, or like the angel, whatever. They're your everything right now, because they are, the reason that you are going to be able to put these orders in later. So show your host how much you appreciate them and their guests. When your guests or their guests see how easy and rewarding it is to be a host because of free products, they'll be more likely to host a party too. In the past, I would actually, I don't do this for my virtual, but for my home parties, I would always take a small little gift and be like, and I do it in front of the host, in front of the guest. And I say, this is for you as just a thank you for inviting me into your home. That way the guests see that, hey, they're going to get something out of this no matter what. It's not much. I do maybe, if I know that they have warmers, I'll do bars, maybe a mini warmer, and you can use a perpetual party reward from a previous party or something. A mini warmer is a really good idea, especially if they don't have warmers yet. So like a mini warmer in a bar, a counter clean, and not a dish soap because we're getting rid of those. Whatever you want to do, but I do try and spoil them and give that to them in front of the guests so that they see it's worth their while to host a party with me. product presentation. It's easy to want to talk about every single product we have. Believe me, as a long-winded person, I can't talk. I understand that. But you got to keep it short and sweet. You got to keep their attention span, or keep their attention, because we don't have large attention spans. You don't want them getting bored and distracted. Honestly, 30 minutes is sufficient. If you're long-winded like me, 45 is good. I try so hard not to go an hour, because, and when I say presentation, I mean, that doesn't include the icebreaker game, the introduction. I'm talking about presentation of products. 45 minutes is probably a little too long, but again, I'm long-winded, but by the end of that, like that last 15 minutes, people are struggling to stay connected. But 20 to 30 minutes on just the presentation, on showing the products, that's sufficient. It really is. You don't have to talk about every single product. Talk about your favorites. So personally, like I would talk about my favorites and my best sellers. I'm always going to talk about wax and warmers, because obviously everyone sells those. That's what we are. I may show, hey, this is my favorite warmer. And I give the details on warmers, how long the wax lasts, yada, yada, yada. Things they need to know if they don't have warmers. But like I highlight my cleaning products. I normally talk about laundry. I use my laundry products, but they're not my favorite, and I don't sell a ton of them. So if I highlight them, it's like a quick highlight. I don't talk about them. I don't go into depth about them. Our on the go, I use a crap ton of our on the go products, and I sell a ton of on the go products. Like I keep touching my MacBook screen like it's touch screen. It's not. Anyways, I use my car bar clips like they're going out of style, about to have to swap to car bars. I sell a ton of car bars and stuff though, and I sell a ton of like room sprays. So Ray, hey. So I sell a ton of that. So I do like to bring things like that and show them off. I show them the difference. You would show them the difference of a car bar and a car bar clip. Again, those are leaving. Or show them the options of a car bar clip. I have several that like use scent packs in our car. Travel twist. Show them the options that they have for their cars like that, if that's something you sell a lot of. How you represent yourself during the party is key to making authentic and engaging connections with guests. So you want to display confidence. Confidence in yourself, confidence in your products, confidence in in the business and the company as a whole. You also want to display product knowledge. You don't want to get up there and them ask questions and you be like, which, don't get me wrong, this happens sometimes. Like sometimes somebody may ask a question, I'm going, that's a good question. Let me get back to you about that. But like if someone says, how long is a cube of wax good for? You don't need to be like, you know what? Because what we sell crap, we're a wax company. You should know what your wax, 1 cube of wax, 6 to 8 hours, right? 8 to 10 hours for the stronger scents, in my opinion. And so 1 bar, I always tell them 60 to 80 or 80 to 100 hours. But most of all, have fun. Like, don't get up there and be so nervous that like, it's just like so routine and so, just have fun is what I'm trying to say. Don't get up there and just be so nervous that you like tank the whole party because you, like if you get off of your script, if you have a script, you get off of track a little bit, don't worry about it. Just make sure you pull yourself back in and get back on track. When you do have a good time and express your passion for what you do, it shows. People see it and they think, I kind of want to be a part of this. Know your products. Know every item you're selling inside and out. This makes you appear more credible and competent to guests, but it also makes you feel more confident. So if you even if you have to have, like I said, a little script with some notes jotted down about, how long. I screwed up recently. I put a post up about our fragrance flowers, and I accidentally posted that they only last a month. And Mandy, that's on here, actually commented and was like, "That's so crazy. Mine lasts me 3 months." I was like, you know what? Mine do last me 3 to 4 months. Why did I just post that? So, get up there and know your products. And if you have to make little notes like that to remind yourself, if you have a mushy brain like I do, that's fine. But just make sure you're not reading it like this. Just kind of keep it to the side. If you have to look down at it every now and then, there's no shame in that. Plan a flow for your party. Having an agenda. Ugh, my computer's about to die. Hold on. I'm sorry. It's been dying so fast lately. Have an agenda for your party. I like lists. I like to-do lists. I make lists for my lists. There we go. I like to kind of have an idea of what's coming next and what we're going to do next, because you don't want it to go off track and you don't want it to be total chaos. And I'm a chaos coordinator, believe me, but when I do a party, I make sure I've got some type of agenda written down, because it will become pure chaos eventually. So having an agenda will keep you on track. It keeps the guests engaged. The last thing any of us want to do is show up to a party and not know what to do. That would be embarrassing. So make a plan, go over it a couple of times before the party. Talk to your hostess about it. If you just kind of run it by and be like, hey, this is the order of things I'm going to do. I like to kind of ask them to hold questions for the end sometimes, so that you can kind of but if you think that that's going to sound rude, then let them interrupt you, because that's fine too. However you think, whatever you think, like I like to feel the room out and make that decision. So keep your audience in mind, consider the party theme if there is one, and decide whether to focus on a specific product category. My hostesses have never had a theme, so I'm not going to really elaborate on that, but some people like to do themed parties. That's okay. But you want to understand the needs of your host and their guests, because that's going to drive how you share the products. When closing a party, it is so important. Like if you're taking notes right now, write a big star and write in giant letters, booking game. Do not end that party without doing a booking game. Promise me right now that you will always do a booking game. At the end of any party, not just home parties, at the end of your virtual parties, I want you to throw a booking game in there. It's so important. Don't tell them that it's a booking game. This is key. Just that it's another chance to win a prize. So a couple of my favorites. Why did it do that? I have 2 favorites that I put down here. One is book a party, pick a prize. This is a great way to entice people to book their own party. So what you would do is you would take 3 gift bags or gift boxes with different Scentsy products in them, and you're going to number them 1, 2, and 3. Pro tip, don't spend a bunch of money on these. Use rewards or things that you have on hand. Don't go ballistic and go broke trying to do this game. So an example, bag 1, a mini warmer in a bar. If you have a mini warmer on hand, throw it in there. I always have bars on hand. If I ever give away a mini warmer, I always use my perpetual party reward, because you get it for, what's half of 25? I'm terrible with numbers. $13.50. You get it for $13.50, and it's really not breaking the bank. But again, do what you can afford. Number 2 bag, counter clean, and a Swedish dishcloth from the Success Store. If you haven't seen those, y'all, my customers, my mom especially, is freaking obsessed with the Swedish dishcloths, and we have them in the consultant store, and they're Scentsy branded, and they come 3 in a pack, so it's good for 3 different parties. So counter clean and a Swedish dishcloth for them to clean up with. That's would be the bag I would want. Number 3, a mini fan diffuser and a pack of pods. Again, perpetual party rewards. I keep pods. I have literally, it's a problem. I have probably 25 packs of pods on hand right now, and they're mostly because for me, like I change my pods out constantly, but I do sell those if I need to. I have a customer down the road that stocks up on them pretty regularly, and she just buys what I have on hand. So a mini diffuser and a pack of pods, that would be a great one, especially if you use rewards on that. So those are just 3 examples, but again, do whatever you can do. Put the bags and boxes on display before the party where everyone can see them. That way they're curious. You want to pique their curiosity. People love mystery prizes. I love surprises. I love opening a gift that I don't know what's in it, or a prize. Tell them that if 3 people book a future party with you, they can choose one of the bags and they get to keep whatever's in that bag for absolutely free. Also entice them by telling them that your host will get in. I do this with my virtual parties too. When I do my booking game about my virtual parties, I always say, if 3 people book, sometimes I do 2, just so I can get some parties on my books. If 2 or 3 people book, then my hostess will get an extra half price reward, and that would be their perpetual party reward. So do that how you need to, but that helps. Usually if you can entice them with, oh, hey, your friend will get more goodies if you book this party, and you've just demonstrated how easy and fun the party is. So most of the time they're gonna want to book. So that one's a fun one to do. My favorite personally is a booking poem. I found this on the workstation right after I joined, when I started doing host parties. I found the poem, and it's not on there anymore, but I found it on Google or something, somehow. I don't even know how I found it. I can't remember when I was making this. So you will give each guest a note card and a pen. I like to take Scentsy pens with me, so they can fill out their order forms at the end anyway. So you'll already have those. And so I'll take like yes, I'm going to share this whole document, and I've got the poem typed up on the document. Yes. But you'll take just a small pack of note cards, or have them do it on the back of their order form, I guess, if that's possible. I can't remember if the back of them had anything on them. Anyways, but I like to take a little pack of note cards, give them out, and have them tally up their points to what applies to them as you read each line of the poem. The person with the most points wins, and you can also give something to the one with the least points also, especially if they haven't won yet. So here's the poem. I'm going to read it to you because it's quick. I'm going to read it without stopping. When you do it in the party, or I may just read just a portion of it. When you do it in the party, I slow it down so that they can tally up there, so that they can write everything down. So it's like, it starts off, I wonder who came here from afar. Give yourself 5 if you came by car. Obviously, one comes by car normally. So were you on time? Not 1 minute late. Punctuality pays. So give yourself 8. That's where I would not get points. A watch is 6, a ring is 2, 10 more points if your eyes are not blue. So like, it's things like that, and they'll stop. Like I had brown eyes, so I would give myself 10 points. Take away 10 points if you left dishes in the sink. It goes into like buttons, the colors of their buttons on their shirts. If they have bows on somewhere, shoelace bows count. If you're married, so for each year they've been married, they get 1 point. So 1 point for each year that you've been wed. Take away 5 if you have on red. And then it goes into kids, like you get 3 points for each son that you have, 4 points for each daughter. This is always even funny to me. It says, if you kissed your husband or boyfriend today, add 12. But into your personal life, we must delve. If you kissed them both, you must subtract 20. So if they kissed a husband and a boyfriend today, they have to subtract 20. Thankfully, that has never been a problem. Not one that anyone has said out loud. No one has ever had to subtract 20 in a party I've been in. But the most important part is the end of it. It says, now that we're finished, total your score, except if you're a special friend, then there's more. There's a 50-point bonus for a VIP if you'll host a party with Cynthia and me. Again, don't do both of these, because then they're going to kind of catch on that you're just trying to book parties. Pick one of those. I do swap them up, but I love the poem game. It's just easy and fun. But then again, I also like I do enjoy the bag game because 3 people get a prize. This one, only one person is going to get a prize. Normally the people that book parties and get the 50 points, that's normally the winner. But again, you tend to book more with the mystery prize game because you book 3 parties. And if you want to, you can do a first, second, and third. So you can do the person with the most points, the next, and the least if you wanted to. That way you book 3 parties. Anyways. All right. So then you're going to finish up by thanking everyone for coming. Show them the sniffing station if you've set one up. That way they can make a wish list. I always give them an order form, and I let them know that order form is not necessarily just for them to order. They can also make their wish list out on it for all the products they like. Pro tip, take coffee beans with you or coffee grounds in a little tin of some sort, or if the customer or the hostess has coffee beans, because if everyone's sitting around sniffing, and if you're a seasoned consultant, you probably know this already. If everyone's sitting around sniffing all these scents, it can get to be a little overwhelming in the headache area, and they can sniff that in between each fragrance, and it kind of wipes the slate of that each fragrance to start over. That was a terrible way of describing that, but hand them, I already said this, hand them each an order form for their wish list. Once they're finished, collect their orders. Not everybody's going to order. At my home parties, most people have, but sometimes there are those people that just can't, and they just come for the fun, and that's okay. Thank them anyways for coming and being a part of it. Make sure, though, the ones that are ordering, it is essential that all of the proper contact info is on all of the forms. Email if they've got one, phone number if you need to contact them and ask them a question about their order, like if something just doesn't seem clear to you, maybe, or if you've like messed up on, taxes or something, you need to be like, hey, I overcharged you or undercharged you. Their shipping address, if you're shipping directly to them, like all of that is very essential. I never ship my orders I don't ever send my orders to my hostess. If they're local, I send the party straight to me. That way I can bag them up, make them look pretty, and they'll always remember that I took the time to make their orders look nice and pretty, and so that they'll continue to order from me. So but it's still essential. Even if you ship it to yourself, it's still essential to get that contact information. You want to have great sales and you want to reach your income goals, no doubt. But Scentsy is so much more than that, and I know that you guys know that. This is your story. These are your people. It's all about adding value to your life and to the lives of others, especially. It's about building new communities. For me, when I think about what Scentsy is community. If I had to think of one word, I had to only give one word, what Scentsy is to me, it's community. The friendships, the bonds, the relationships that I've built out of this business have been everything to me. They are everything, to me. I love the Scentsy community, and it's about building those new communities. Your Scentsy business is essentially a legacy, and so you want to share it with everyone that you meet. So yeah, that's the end of my notes, but hopefully you got something out of this. That was kind of like an abrupt ending, but it is what it is. Hopefully you got something out of this. Again, I will be posting this document. I actually just exited out. I need to pull it up so that I remember to post this. I'm going to post this document in all of the groups. I'll post it in Magnificent Superstars. I'll post it in Bootcamp 48. I'll post it in that, and then you are more than welcome. I'm giving this to you so that you can copy that link and share it with your teams. I think that I've got it to where it's like shareable, hopefully. I'm kind of new to the whole document thing. So, oh my God, where did it go? Anyways, I'll mess with this later. I'm going to make it where it's shareable and people can get on it. I do ask, I think I can set it where they can't edit it. I do ask that nobody edits it. If you have to make notes on it, just kind of make them on a new document or on pen and paper, because this is something I'm going to be sharing with several groups. So yeah, so thank you so much. If you hopped on, I know I can't see your beautiful faces, but I know you're there. I know you're working probably and listening at the same time. And I just thank you so much for taking, I don't even know what time it is. Oh God. Oh, I started at 10:30. Oh, I kept it an hour. This started at 10:30. Go me. I'm so proud of me. I wanted to keep it at an hour. I was really nervous that I wouldn't. So, because I'm so long-winded. So, if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the chat below. I'll kind of stay on here for about a couple more minutes. If you have questions, you're so welcome, Cassidy. Thank you for joining. Or if you want to unmute yourself and show me your pretty face and have questions, feel free to do that also. After the last training last week, Tori opened it up to questions and we chatted about, like, we got into weight loss surgery because I had weight loss surgery back in April and we were just talking about all the things and it was the coolest chat. So if you have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and turn the recording off